Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt answers questions on Department of Homeland Security on demasking demands from the Democrats to fund DHS. Leavitt says it's something the White House will be discussing with lawmakers. Let's play the video.
One of the Democrats' main demands for DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. Is this something that the president is even considering?
Again, this is one of the specific points in the letter that went out.
And we'll back the video up in just a second here, but notice the focal point here: demasking ICE agents. Right. So what's been going on, in my opinion, is a mass terror campaign, which is reminiscent of Weather Underground, and the left demands that ICE agents be unmasked, and this way they can dox them. They can get that dox out to people who will actually affect some sort of terror against these agents. That's what's actually happening in real time, and that's what the concern is. That concern is legitimate. We've seen these people before surround people's houses. We've seen them before. They went to Tucker Carlson's house. Yep. They will harass these agents and they will dox their families, and they're happy to do it. Now, they claim on their side, wait a second, we have a right to know who these people are. They're public service officials, and they shouldn't be out here masked up. That comes with the territory. So how do you solve that from the libertarian prism, Ian?
Yeah, I think you need to allow them to be masked, personally. It's kind of like, I guess this is the beginning of the stormtrooper. Literally, this is why they will wear full body armor, so you don't know who's who. And plausible deniability, you can't go after their families. But like, are we the empire? I don't know. I don't want to be. But this republic is like on its deathbed right now. I don't know what.
Where are the voices on the left? Where are the voices on the left going, you know what? Maybe we should stop our people from attacking ICE. Maybe we should stop people like Larry Krasner, who's the like AG or whatever, the DA in Philadelphia, that's like, we're going to go after every ICE agent with Nuremberg type trials. We're going to unmask you all afterwards. There's like, you put them in this untenable situation where it's like, hey, if you do this work that the people voted for, lefties are going to hunt you down and hunt your family down, right? And the politicians of the left are going to basically pay lip service. They won't say but they're going to say, oh, you'll never work in California again if you work for ICE. Oh, we'll find out who you are. Oh, we're going to go after you with Nuremberg trials. Like, we're in this situation where it's like all of the problems are starting because we've allowed the left to be thugs, and no one will call it out. They're just like, well, we don't like the symptom. We don't like the fact that now they're wearing masks. They wouldn't have to wear masks if the left didn't get away with rioting with impunity over and over and over.
We also pretend that just laughing at them will do this.
Right.
Oh, we can just laugh at them because they're silly.
Right. Exactly.
They're stupid, weak, blah, 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 blah. But
with no action.
Yeah, that's not working. You can't just laugh at them. We have to take actual action here. And if we don't take action here and the administration doesn't take action here, they're going to continue, and they're going to win this overwhelmingly. So
yeah, there's no voices on the left because this is what they want to
Correct.
see. I mean, they literally, and there's a lot of low information people on the left. I get it, because they're like, oh, we like people, and tears for people or whatever. But you have, the people that are actually doing these actions admit this stuff. I mean, we saw it in Minnesota where they were going after the hotels. They were working with local businesses to figure out where ICE was staying, what they were doing, the rental car places that were giving them the cars. I mean, this is a part of their plan. They want to dox them. They want their identities to be exposed.
And how are they going to harass them? They're not going to harass them by going after the agents. They're going to go after their families.
Correct.
That's how they always do it. They always make the opinion to go after the families. It's a demoralization campaign. You don't come out here because if you do, there's going to be consequences. Maybe not to you, but how much are you willing to put up with for a job when it comes to your loved ones?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question for many is not much. Not much.
Right.
Just look, you talked about Tucker. Just look at some recent examples here. Just the other day, we had OMB Russ Vought. Someone was arrested outside of his house that was screaming about Project 2025, right? Now imagine that you saw Charlie Kirk happen, and the paper of record, the New York Times, comes out the next day within 24 hours and puts out an article that they then had to put a retraction at the bottom of 24 hours later. And it says, yesterday's clip said that Charlie Kirk had said some anti-Semitic things on his channel. While this is true, he was quoting someone else and then rebutting it, right? Almost ubiquitously, the Democrats came out and were like, well, Charlie's a fascist. Basically, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he had it coming. Then what do they call ICE? Well, you're a fascist too. And we're going to unmask you and we're going to come for you. Knowing full well that they're stormtroopers, just like the people you saw over social media making fun of Charlie Kirk. All these ICE people see this. You see it. You see the mass movement of the people calling for your head. And then when you look and you see what the mainstream narrative is with the Democratic Party, you're basically getting wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, we're coming for you.
Yep.
And so the entire point is we want you unmasked. We want you fearful because we want to intimidate law enforcement to not take action when we aren't in power.
Meanwhile, we can, of course, be masked.
That's right.
We can, of course, be completely masked. Yep. We can show up to these things without having to show our face, of course, because we're not public servants. And so in this way, the law is being weaponized against the lawful. And that needs to stop. And it needs to stop immediately. Let's watch the rest of this.
One of the Democrats' main demands for DHS funding was to demask ICE agents. Is this something that the president is even considering?
Again, this is one of the specific points in the letter that went out by Senate Majority Leader Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. I won't negotiate the individual points from the podium, but it is obviously something the White House will be discussing with lawmakers on Capitol Hill in the coming days.
Is the administration concerned that the shakeup that we're seeing of DHS activity in Minneapolis could potentially embolden different obstructionist protesters around the country as they now have a playbook on how to get ICE out of their cities?
No, because what you saw yesterday with the drawdown of 700 agents only occurred because the condition that the President of the United States set for local states, local counties to turn over illegal aliens to ICE has been met. And as for the left-wing agitators who have been illegally obstructing ICE's immigration efforts, we are not letting that behavior go unnoticed or unpunished. In fact, just today, the Department of Homeland Security arrested this individual. He is a self-proclaimed Antifa member who has been threatening, doxing, harassing ICE. He called for the of federal law enforcement officers. He encouraged in the streets of Minnesota. He proudly acclaimed affiliation with the domestic organization Antifa, and the Department of Justice, thanks to the great work of HSI and the FBI, was able to locate and arrest this individual today.
You know, I love how she holds it up. You know, like this is such a great achievement.
Yeah.
Okay. We finally got this domestic. Right. This looks to me, Rob, like pure cope.
Yep.
This looks like. Am I wrong?
No,
is this not pure
I'll give you
cope?
devil's advocate here. I'll give you devil's advocate. So what we are hearing on the ground and from the leftists is that, you know, the ICE presence and the deportations and stuff are still going on and are just as strong as before the quote unquote stand down order. And the idea that Homan going in, you know, doing what he did was just to kind of get the PR, the public, to kind of lull back to sleep and forget about it and maybe talk about, you know, Obama videos or whatever. So like, I guess I'll throw that caveat in there to you guys. I mean, as far as like playing devil's advocate, what do you think if that was their strategy? You know, is this a smart?
It's silly. It's on its face. It's silly. They got exactly what they wanted. We got the fascist out. It doesn't matter. The deportations were going on under Biden at these facilities. They didn't care. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with get the fascist and get the fascists out. What that reporter asked was a brilliant question. He puts it back on them. He says, look, if it's the case that now that they have a playbook and they can prove it's proven to work, that if they agitate enough, you will do a drawdown because you're going to make a deal. You've given them all the leverage. Now, Trump's supposed to be the master of the art of the deal. So how's that a good deal? You don't give the leverage over to the domestic. That's crazy. And that's what it looks like is happening to me.
The reality is less important than the perception here, right? Because right now, if you're a person considering going on the street and rioting in, say, Portland or Atlanta, any city, right? You're like, well, did it work? Am I going to get in trouble? Did it work? Most of them are getting away with this with impunity. I could show you video after video of CBP and ICE pulling people over for obstructing them and saying, okay, you need to go home now. Every single one of those people that you let go is a riot that's occurring in the future because people are emboldened by the fact that they're able to obstruct, basically with impunity. Sure, we got the worst of the worst, and that's good. At least that's if we assume that's what they did. Nonetheless, you should be going after all these people. So what happens is the perception, even if you're right, it's like, yeah, but this is really all they wanted. And let's be honest, I think at least with us three, maybe you as well, Ian, I don't know. Trump's not as hardline on immigration as we are. I want them all gone, all of them. I used to have a big heart, no more. Trump's out there saying, well, we're just going to get the worst of the worst. No, take them all. But let's assume that's not the case and they just want the worst of the worst. Could this be seen as a victory? Maybe. But perceptually, what it looks like is you negotiated with.
Yeah.
And when you do that, the say, oh boy, all we have to do is keep using this playbook over and over. So for me, this is just going to ensure, as you said, we're going to have Sovereign Love 2.0. We're going to see riots all over the country when the weather gets better.
I mean, I agree. I was just giving you a devil's advocate because that is
that's your position. You're stuck with it forever.
Counter narrative. Listen, anyone that's heard me on this show all week, I literally want checkpoints out there. So in West Virginia, they do these checkpoints for like sobriety, where they'll pull people over and they check and see, oh, are you drunk or whatever. Why aren't we doing that for citizenship? Like, why? I was thought, there'll be that's optically terrible. Like, why can't we do that? We could do that if someone's drunk, but not if they're a citizen.
Look, I give Trump a lot of leeway, and this is why. He's the only person that's moved the Overton window on this issue. Republicans for years were just doing nothing. Republicans right now in the Senate are what have they done? Like, someone tell me what the Republicans have accomplished year one with the House, with the Senate, and the president. Nothing. They do nothing. They're not enshrining any of Trump's executive orders. Nothing. And so I get it. Trump's fighting basically a one-man battle. That I understand. But the truth of the matter is he could be doing a lot better. You want to end this? You know what you do? Start going after the employers. Yeah. Go after all these places that you know are intentionally hiring these illegals. That's what you do. You keep doing these raids, right? But you let it be known, like, that's it. I'm allowed to enforce the law as the executive, and we're going to enforce the law against the employers. But instead, Trump's going to be like, well, actually, I talked to a lot of our great farm producers and factories, and these illegals are good. And if we kick them out, we'll have to replace them with bad people. It's nonsensical. And so it's a mixed message.
What do you do with the employers, though?
Find them, then jail them.
See, I go even further. Deport them to the countries of the people that they were employing. Absolutely. You send one or two business owners to Somalia or to Mexico, you know what I mean? That's going to stop real quick.
You're right. Trump isn't super hardline on deportation. He was super hardline on stopping immigration.
Yeah.
And he basically did that. Now, the deportation, he was pretty clear. He doesn't want to disrupt American business. I kind of understand it. If we're really facing a birth crisis, we're going to need a workforce. Maybe that's what this is all about, is that was this big importation. Biden literally said surge the border when he was running for president in 2019 or something. So
the GDP go up?
GDP go up.
GDP go up.
GDP go up. Debt go up.
This is why I can't wait for the AI. I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh, AI this. I can't wait. I can't wait until it just takes over. We don't need the labor force. The machines are going to do the work. I've already shared my homeless idea on the show many times, how to put the homeless to work in the AI machines. There's clever ways that we can do things.
It's so nefarious. It's so disgusting. The same, again, it's this dialectic. They create the problem and then say you have to go to them to solve it. So they create the problem of sort of pushing this materialistic worldview that basically encourages feminism to not want to be mothers anymore. Then that puts in the workforce, what makes it very unaffordable to have children. And then after all that, they're like, oh, shucks, we're not having enough kids. Now we have to import third world immigrants, which, by the way, happen to be our globalist agenda in the first place. So, for me, I think that there is a way in the short term to keep immigrants or have people go home and then bring the ones back based on a merit-based system that we need. But I think the case is overstated. Look at all the problems that are coming. If you watched Bessent the other day talk in front of Congress, he was like, look, we're going to start to see rent prices and home prices go down. Why? Because hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions, that we're kicking out, that we're competing and increasing the demand for those housing things. Young people right now can't afford houses, and we're telling them, well, listen, sorry, we got to mass bring in people from India and illegal immigrants, etc., that are going to be these homeowners and rent all of these places.
And where are they putting them? In the affordable housing areas.
That's right. Mm-hmm. They're getting loans. They're getting these loan programs that are designed for young people to be able to afford houses. They're going to people on H-1B visas.
Yep.
Now, the whole point of the H-1B is you're supposed to be here temporary, right? So why are you purchasing a home with government money, government-backed loans? The whole thing's a joke, right? And it's designed to sort of screw over. The American citizen is always last. And yeah, you're right. GDP up.
GDP
I
go
don't
up.
care about GDP to the extent that that means that a bunch of people get wealthy that weren't in this country in the first place. Why don't I care about my neighbor that's a citizen and his fortunes? I don't care your skin color or any of that, but I care about that person, not, well, hey, that person's unemployed now because we brought some dude in from India or some illegal migrant came over and does that job for $5 less. But look, GDP up.
But it's not even GDP up, it's bottom line up, because the GDP would stay the same if you paid Americans more to do the jobs that the H-1Bs and the illegal immigrants are doing right now. The GDP would stay the same. The American citizens would just make more money. I mean, so yeah, it's not even a GDP up thing. It's a bottom line go up. We want to make more money. We want cheap labor.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about is the leftist talking point. So remember, Rob professionally debates with leftists, and one of the arguments that they make more than anything else, we need their GDP to go up.
Well, leftists don't understand anything about business.
I
and when
agree.
they say GDP,
I'm not
they
saying
actually mean,
saying leftists aren't totally. They are.
Right.
I'm just pointing out
what
that
they actually mean is bottom line go up.
Yeah, they want GDP go up. So,
right.
so we mock them for that all the time.